Right. Good morning for those in Mexico. I guess we have some people from Mexico. Good afternoon, all of the attendees from Brazil. And also for some good evening. I see some people here from France where we have the Olympics. So I'm sure everyone is kind of working at the same time, checking the medals, how your athletes are doing. So thank you so much for assisting. So let's wait a little bit so we can have more people. But today we're gonna talk about real-time payment methods, more focus in Brazil, but we're gonna discuss as well in other countries. We're gonna discuss about automated trading as well through API, and also stablecoins, blockchain, the future of cross-border payments, and also a view about this sector in Brazil. So we have 25 people. Let's wait a little bit more. How you guys are doing? And if you want, I can start with some brief introductions. So today we have with us Andrés Fagua. He's our technical customer specialist or the king of APIs at Bitso. So when you start the integration, for sure, you're going to speak with Andrés. So Andrés, thank you. Where are you now, Andrés? Sometimes you're in Colombia, El Salvador. Where are you now?
Yeah, thank you, Thales, and hi, everyone. Right now, I'm in El Salvador, the country where Bitcoin is the official tender.
That's right. And Bitcoin today touched, if I'm not mistaken, almost 70,000. Right now is 68, but super bullish overall. And El Salvador, as you say, is the official capital of Bitcoin. Awesome. Then our second guest is Julia Rosin. So Julia, she's our head, the public policy expert at Bitso Brazil. Where are you, Julia?
Hi, Thales. Hi, everyone. I'm in Rio de Janeiro right now.
All right. Yeah, you're better than I. I'm in São Paulo, and Rio is beautiful, sunny, and everything is good in Rio. And Matheus. Matheus is our senior product manager, the person that knows the most about cross-border in the company here to join us to talk about PIX, eFX, and also about stablecoin Swift. So Matheus, welcome. And where are you? In São Paulo as well, or still in Rio?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Thales. I'm in Mogi das Cruzes.
Mogi.
Yeah, unknown city, but one of the best.
Awesome. All right. As you know, Bitso is a fully remote company, so we have more than 35 nationalities and people around the world, and super happy to be here. And yeah, 3 minutes, I think we might start. So I did the introduction of our speakers and a brief overview. So this webcast is going to be divided in 3 blocks, okay? The first block is transform cross-border payments with eFX and PIX. The second block, we're going to discuss how our customers and you can leverage our APIs for automatic conversion and trading. In the third block is about blockchain stablecoin settlement, the future in the cross-border payments. So I hope all of you enjoy. And I'm going to start talking with you, Matheus, about transforming cross-border with eFX and PIX. Just to give you some remarks, as you know, PIX is the instant payment method of the Central Bank of Brazil, huge adoption. In other markets that we are also present, like Mexico, we have SPAY, although SPAY doesn't have the penetration of PIX, but it's growing exponentially month by month, year by year, so we can witness that. And also in Colombia, right, we have ACH, Argentina, CBU, but instant payments is here to stay, SEPA in Europe, whatever. In India, you have a very successful as well, and Fed now coming in the States as well. So why this is important? Because this allowed, in conjunction with blockchain, to have this real-time payment system that we're aiming to build here at Bitso. So Matheus, let's first focus on the PIX and eFX, and I think you'll prepare a presentation for us.
Definitely. I think you are seeing my screen, right?
Correct, yes.
So, first of all, as Thales mentioned, Bitso is in 4 countries in Latin, in Mexico with SPAY, Brazil with PIX, Colombia with ACH, Colombia and PSE, and Argentina with bank transfers. And we can move funds locally in these countries and send it to other countries like US with domestic wires, SWIFT, or even in Europe with SEPA. But let's go deeper on Brazil and PIX. So PIX was one of the most successful histories and marks for the central bank. In 1 year, it reached more than 100 transactions per capita by country. And when we compare it to other countries like Nigeria, Chile, UK, like Brazil, like reached it really fast in 1 year. It was an exponential growth. And some data points, like there are more than 700 million registered PIX keys. We grew 60% in PIX transactions from June 2023 to June 2024. And a few weeks ago, we reached the all-time high in 1 day, 224 million transactions in 1 single day. Like this is huge, and PIX is gaining popularity among other payment methods. So I like this chart from Brazilian report, getting data from the central bank. And PIX is this blue one, which already represents 43% of all payments in Brazil. And it's killing some other methods like bank slips, debit card. There's the contactless PIX that will be launched in 2025 that will be a really competitor against debit card. And it's gaining more and more dominance in Brazil. So this is something that if you want to dominate Brazil or operate here, you need to have a PIX. And with that, we want to show what are our capabilities and more about our PIX in Bitso. So we have for you to embed in your website or with your company, like all the methods of PIX, like PIX dynamic, PIX static, PIX via PIX key, and especially on the dynamic PIX that represents 34% of all transactions in PIX, which is the dynamic QR code. We offer one that can prevent duplicate payments. You can only pay once. We also have the technology to block third-party payments. This is really good for AML prevention. So an example, if your user created the QR code, the dynamic QR code, only your user can pay it. So we can add that in our dynamic QR code. Also, there is the transactional screening, limits, validation, and these are important things for you to have once you do an FX. We're going to talk more about that. So these are must-haves for you to move funds cross-board. And also, in our platform, you will have your PIX key. So even though if you are Brazilian or foreigner, you will have your PIX key to operate in Brazil. We're really focused on making these ramps, these a payment solution available 24/7. We have like 99.9% of availability. Also, we are expanding our throughput. So today we're doing 40 transactions per second, and we are working with our engineering team to constant improve that number, and more than happy to have more customers using our PIX here. All right, so that's about PIX. But Bitso, we can offer you a solution that you can go to Brazil using PIX, even though if you are a foreigner without a CNPJ or the tax ID in Brazil, for you to collect or interact with your users via pay-ins, so your user paying you, or payouts you paying your user for different segments or use cases that you might have. And if you want to get those BRL, like, because BRL is the currency in Brazil, and if you want to move this BRL to our headquarters, whatever it is, we offer the cross-border solution, which is compliant with the central bank in Brazil. We have two possible ways for you to do that. So we have, for use cases like gaming, import exports, to use eFX or FX transactions where you deliver the fiat or even the crypto with an FX registration. Also, we have use cases like MetaMask or other crypto native companies where they want crypto, only crypto transactions. So we offer cross-border on crypto as well, according to the IN 1888, which is where we register like who bought the cryptocurrency. And these not only with crypto, but also with stable coins. So that's the full package in Brazil. So you can operate locally, collecting, disbursing payments in BRL, and move these funds overseas whenever you want using our APIs. And Andrés will show more about that later on, in also using our website as well. So Thales.
Yes, so questions for you. So what type of customers are looking for our solutions, right? You mentioned remittance companies, could be a Web3 wallet, for example, like MetaMask or others. What type of customers are looking for this solution?
Awesome, good question. So as you mentioned, remittances, and we have a really good use case, especially in Mexico, for remittance that we are expanding to Brazil. Gaming operations, so that companies that needs the use of dynamic QR code, all the proper screening, and move these funds internationally once they have enough funds to move after that. We also, like in the new betting laws that are coming and regulation, our PIX is prepared for that as well, and we are getting some leads on that sense and some demand on that. Also, as you mentioned, MetaMask and crypto native companies that wants to allow users to have BRL, wants to move it to crypto, and there are a bunch of use cases like that in Web3 wallet, moving funds there, or even to pay things with crypto.
Good, Matheus. And another question here, in terms of differentiation, because my view is that PIX, yes, companies still charge for PIX. Individuals, as you know, they don't pay for PIX, but companies that using the service, yes, there's a cost. But we have seen like the tariffs, what companies, PSPs are charging, going lower and lower, right? And sometimes I like to do the analogy with SMS, that back in the day, you used to pay for sending message to your friends, right? And the companies, they say, okay, X amount of minutes and whatever, X number of SMS. And now no one pay SMS, you just pay for data. How you see the evolution of PIX in terms of transactional costs, and how companies in general, fintechs, can differentiate among themselves?
Awesome. I think that's a good question. I think there will be a cannibalization of price or a price war in PIX. Still, companies will make funds or money from there, but for not charging percentage as we see in some segments, but fixed fees, but small ones. But the way Bitso differentiate is by two means. The first, we are in one API integration. You can not only expand your business to Brazil, but you can expand your business to Mexico, Colombia, Argentina. Also, you can easily move these funds to your headquarters overseas, or via crypto or via fiat in a compliance way. So these two things are the ones that we differentiate, especially when we talk about cross-border, the crypto part. We're born as a crypto company, and we are leveraging our crypto expertise here in that sense as well.
Interesting. All right, so moving now to Andrés Fagua. Thanks so much, Matheus. And this part, folks, is more technical. We're going to show some APIs. So if there's some CTOs, engineers, product teams, they're going to appreciate that. But now we're going to deep dive on the APIs and what can we do. Andrés is super didactic. He's going to show you how to do it, some scripts, and then we finalize with the stablecoins. But Andrés, over to you.
Thank you, Thales, and thank you, Matheus. So right now, as Matheus was saying, you can leverage our APIs because you can trade automatically with them. And I'm going to share my screen and show you what I mean by that. So first of all, let me introduce you to our basically documentation where you can see everything about placing orders. So as you can see here, we're going to be focusing on what books we're going to use, and either if we're going to place the order by using a major or a minor currency, you cannot use both. You have to choose one of those. Also, you can ID each of these trades that you're going to be placing by using this field called origin ID, which can contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. You can set the price in limit orders because we want you to take advantage of informed and smart decisions. We don't want the market to eat away your funds. We want your funds to be maximized in every possible way. And I will show you soon how you can do that. Also, you can decide whether you're going to buy or whether you're going to sell. Also, you can decide to stop some orders that you have previously placed. And there's a timing force here, which you can select between good tip cancel, fill or kill, immediate cancel, or post only. Also, two order types that we support right now, market and limit. In limit orders, you can use all of this. Now, you may be wondering, how do we connect what Matheus was saying about PIX, instant payments, APIs, and automated trading? So let me show you how to connect that. So we have an API for Brazil right now. We have our PIX APIs where we can basically take advantage of several things here. We can collect whatever amount of money we want in Brazilian reais. In this case, I am going to be collecting 1,000 Brazilian reais. We can put here the tax ID from the person that's going to pay us. In this case, in Brazil, is the CPF most of the times. And we can put here the name of the person that's going to pay the money. Now, this field, PIX key, this field is unique and this belongs to you. Now, where do you get this PIX key? As Matheus was saying, we are going to offer you the ability to creating a unique PIX key. Even if you are a foreign company, you don't need to have a local entity to access our Brazilian reais and automated trading with those Brazilian reais. So basically what you have to do is to open a business account here at Bitso. And as soon as you open it, you're going to have access to every single thing that Matheus mentioned. Now, you just
Andrés,
have to go.
Sorry
Yes?
to interrupt, but just to add something very important. So Envio, that's our license here in Brazil, the name of the institution is Envio Instituição de Pagamento. We are authorized by the central bank. So we are a bank. So we can create as many as PIX keys you want, and the bank's gonna be Envio, that it's Bitso. So that's very important on this topic.
Thank you, Thales. And then as soon as we are able to see the screen here, we're going to come and register our key. If you are a foreign company, you have to use random key. If you're a local company, you can use either of these four. Now you click random key. As soon as your key is created, you're going to be seeing it in the screen. And as soon as you see it in the screen, it is ready to take payments. In this case, I got an error, but if you go previously, you can see the keys in this screen. Now I'm going to create a payment request here. And one important thing that I have to mention here is the webhook. So for trading, we have WebSockets, and I'm going to explain later what WebSockets are. But for payments, deposits or withdrawals that you receive in your Bitso account, in this case, powered by Envio Brazil, you have to set up a webhook, basically a server where you're going to receive every single notification from every single one of your pay-ins and payouts. Now, I have already set that up, but I'm only going to receive this as soon as the payment has been executed. Now, I'm going to pay this transaction, and I'm going to show you what that webhook looks like on real life. So let me go here to my wallet, and I'm going to pay this dynamic QR code link that I created. Just give me 1 sec. Then I go ahead and click send. Then I select Brazilian reais, PIX transfer, PIX copy and paste. And I just continue my transaction right here. And as soon as I do that, the payment has been sent. If I click on check activity, I can see the payment pending. Give it a couple seconds, refresh your screen again, and you're going to see this completed. Now, where is it in the webhook? It's here. As you can see, there are a couple of things that I want to emphasize right here, and those are the funding ID. So this unique ID is created each time you create a payment QR code link. So this FID here, you see it here as well. This is really important for reconciliation processes because you're going to create a link, you're going to see it here. You can also track it here if you want to in our get pay-in endpoint. You can track it here, no problem at all. You're going to see this complete, and you're going to see the same amount of information. But in the webhook, you see this automatically. You don't have to do a pull of information. Now, important information to consider here. Besides the amount, you're going to be able to see who paid you. So in this case, Andrés Fagua paid. This is his tax ID. This is the bank that he used, in this case, Envio Brazil, because I use a Bitso account, and the banking code, the account number, and also your information, you're going to be able to see it here. So this is really important for reconciliation processes. Now that I have the funds in my account, I can move to the next step, which is going to be the automatic trading. Now, this automatic trading is possible thanks to our APIs. So as you can see, this is a super basic Python script that we created where we can basically define the headers, define the API key and secret we're going to use. We can share more of this after the webinar or during the webinar if you have questions on how to do this. But basically, the important information goes here. So the book that I'm going to use, the major in this case, it's always going to be USDT, and the price. Now, you may wonder, how can we get a good price to place a buy or sell order that can benefit us? Now, we can get this information from our endpoint that is called a ticker endpoint. So as you can see, this ticker endpoint contains, in this case, the book that I'm going to be checking, which is USDT BRL. And in this case, it contains the high and the last price that it was paid either for a buy or sell order. Important to notice that this is created 24 hours from the moment you check. So in this case, you can see that it is 16:24 when I check. But if I refresh, I'm going to see here 16:25. This is UTC time, of course. Now, you can see the last 24 hours from the time you check, and you can see the volume from those last 24 hours from the minute or second you check. You can also see the low, the ask, and the bid, and what has been the change in the last 24 hours so that you can make informed decisions. Now, with this in mind, I'm going to place, since I see that is 5.6 here, I'm going to place a super basic order here. In this case, it is a limit order, a sell order, and it is immediate or cancel. Now, as I was speaking before about the WebSocket, the WebSocket is one way to check every single trade that you're going to be performing or making in a real-time way. So in this case, as you can see, I'm going to be subscribing to this book for trades, deep orders, and orders. This is deeply explained here in our documentation. I'm not going to deep dive on that, but basically we explain this here. These are the server JSON messages that you're going to receive and that you're going to see here live. And this is going to help you keep track of every single order that you're going to be placing. Now, I'm first going to start running the WebSocket, and it's going to be listening to the channels that I selected, and it's going to be listening to those orders from those channels. Now, I started running, and as you can see here, this is starting. So I get this message in this case in Spanish because my account is in Spanish, but you can also get these messages in English if your account is set up in English, or in Portuguese if your account is set up in Portuguese. Now the message here is your order has been received and will be processed soon. This is my Bitso user ID, and I also get important messages here. What is my balance in reais? What is my balance in USDT? Those two currencies that I am basically placing the orders in between, either buy or sell. Now, why is this important? Because whenever a limit order is placed, there is some balance that is locked. Locked, why? Because you're going to have to use that balance for your limit order as soon as the price that you want is executed. Now, as you can see, this is updated each time an order is executed. Now, as you can see, this is the data that we receive. And all of these letters, this is the amount, this is the date, which is basically less than 30 seconds ago. This is the fee amount charge. This is the fee currency, and this is the fee percentage. This is a unique identifier for this order. This is the market order ID so that you can track it later with our get endpoints. This is the rate, and this is T because T is the buy or sell. In this case, since I'm selling, I see number 1 because number 1 is for selling and number 0 is for buying. Also, you can see the trade order right here, which is different from the market order. So I'm giving you 2 options to check the orders: market order ID and trade order ID. And also you can basically check here the value, and you can see here another tracking number for the order. And this is going to be repeating right away, since this bot that I created here is placing orders every 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds, I'm getting here a new order ID. And every 15 seconds, I'm getting here new information. As you can see, this can be go over and over and over again. In this case, the last order was placed in my time, 10:28:45. And as you can see, we received the same amount of information here. So the order ID is this one, and this is the trade order ID, which is the same that I just got here. But I also have some other IDs to check my order for. And also, like we mentioned in the documentation, if you want, you can select an origin ID to basically create an order with a unique ID that you can basically track later on. So this is basically what, when it comes to automated trading and WebSockets, what we can offer. We have many other books to trade and many other ways to track those orders. So let me know what questions you have in the chat, Thales, if there are some.
Yeah, so right now there's no questions, but please feel free to ask all the questions you have. This is very technical, but pretty much with this tool, we're enabling use cases like real-time transfers. Imagine, receive a PIX. You want to convert this and do eFX, even like eFX, you close FX with a bank, it's possible through our APIs, you close this trade. If you're a Web3 company that one of our customers, they have stablecoins on their wallet, if they want to convert this to reais and do automatic payout, this is possible. So This is what enables this technology. I think we have one question here. Do you use the Ripple or which platform for the cross-border payments? You want to answer this, Andrés, or I can answer as well? So Ripple is a partner of ours. So we do partner with them in Mexico to do a bunch of those transactions, and it could be XRP, that's their native token, could be USDT. But all the transactions, they go through our platform at Bitso, the same way that Andrés showed you, Ernesto. So if you have an account at Bitso, you receive your USDT, XRP, you do a trade, and then if you connect to our SPAY in Mexico, you can do payouts. And the same logic could work in Brazil, Colombia, and Argentina. So that's how we see it. Thank you. Yeah, I think just this question for now. And all right, thank you so much, Andrés. And quick question: how long it takes for a company to automatize both PIX and the trading?
So that's a really good question. And just to add to the previous question, Thales, everything happens between our Bitso, UI and between our APIs. So we offer clients the ability to operate with their own APIs, through our platform, through our networks that we offer. So they have a wide variety of options to operate. Now, the question you were asking, Thales, so it takes some time from 1 week to 2 weeks to fully integrate this flow that I just showed. The good thing here is that the clients are going to have a really good team supporting them, and we offer some repos in GitHub that they can use to integrate faster and better, and we have a team 24/7 to help and answer those questions that they might have during the integration process, or if they have some script needs, we can also cover those with our amazing teams that we have.
Great, Andrés. A question from Walter Lopez here. Is there the possibility to create sub-accounts?
So I can answer that. Today, we don't offer that possibility, but our product engineering team, we are working to make that happen. So soon you will see some news about sub-accounts at Bitso.
But we can open several accounts to the same company, for example.
Exactly. That's one way.
All right. Different PIX keys. All right. Thanks so much, Andrés. And now moving forward to stable coins, right? And settlement and the future of blockchain. So to give you more context, as you know, the current banking system is based for cross-border transactions, is based on SWIFT. That's this association that connects more than 11,000 institutions around the world. It's efficient, been working, but we know that there's many intermediaries in this chain. So I'm sure you've tried once to send money from a corporate account to China. One could take days, and two, if you have more than one intermediary on the chain, they can each one charge you, let's say, $15 here and there. So in the end, it's something that is not working as it should be. In my opinion, money should be like as easy as send an email, and should be instant, cheap, and fast. And this is what we believe in Bitso that we're trying to unlock here. How can we connect all those real-time payments in LATAM with blockchain, stablecoins, and we can do this disbursement even in fiat on the other side. Each country has its own regulations, or we deliver stablecoins. I'm super bullish in crypto. In my opinion, a wallet's gonna be our new bank account in the future. No bank account, all wallets that you can have even your CBDCs of each country, stablecoins, and other assets as well. All assets gonna be tokenized. So I'm receiving more questions here, and then we're gonna answer in the end. But now Matheus and Julia is gonna give us an overview of what the governments know about stablecoins here in Brazil. But let's start with this overview of cross-border stablecoins and how we see the future. Matheus.
All right, so thank you, Thales. First of all, an overview, it's important to mention that today, the central banks of the countries, they are really focused on the domestic wires, like Brazil with PIX, Mexico with SPAY. So we saw an increase in improvement of the technology of domestic payments, but yet banking systems across globe, they are incompatible. So it's like the sockets. If you are in Brazil and if you bring your notebook, you probably need an adapter to connect with the power in UK. And to solve that, uh, a few decades ago, were created the correspondent banking. So what is that if you're not familiar? But if I want to send funds to US or to Europe or to Africa, and if my bank doesn't have like headquarters in the other country that I want to send funds, they need to have a correspondent banking to allow a partner correspondent banking to allow this payment to go through. And if there is no direct connection, they need intermediaries correspondent banking. So in a situation of Brazil sending money to Ethiopia, in Brazil, you have a bank A, in bank A has a correspondent in US, and in US have a correspondent banking in Ethiopia. So there are like 3 bankings in between your transaction. So imagine that when you give your BRL in the bank A in Brazil, they will charge fees, they will do the compliance and all the verifications. After everything goes right, they move the funds to the bank B in US, they will do compliance, AML, they will take their fee there, and then they send to the Ethiopian bank, they will do the same. So in this example, which is not a direct connection, it is indirect with only 3 participants, and there are more complex than that. Like you take huge fees because you need to pay each bank. It delays because you need the KYC and then compliance for each bank. There are time zones difference as well, so you lose in that part. So with that was a solution that we had before, but this is still high cost, delays, and you don't have visibility. If your funds got stuck, you don't know where it got stuck, if it was in US or Ethiopia or even in Brazil. And some numbers from the World Bank, like the average transaction fee, this is more for retail, it's 6%. For wholesales is 1.5%, which is a lot. And the average days to settle is between 2 to 5, and it depends on the connection. If you have a direct connection, it's between these numbers. But if you have an indirect connection and more corresponding bankings in between, it takes weeks for you to settle. And this is not the best way for you to move the to let the funds because the funds are locked in the accounts for you to settle the funds. And this is because the way that the funds move is between nostro and vostro accounts. So the corresponding banking in US, they have a vostro account in Brazil, and the Brazilian has a nostro account in US. And to move the funds more fast and to have liquidity, they need to pre-fund those accounts. And it's estimated to have more than $10 trillion locked in these nostro vostro accounts. Now that the rates on the bonds are high, like this is money that is not generating profit, and it's locked on the nostro vostro accounts. And for cross-border payment in looking to the corresponding banking, and for you to solve that, you need to have a borderless technology. And that borderless technology is the blockchain. That's why we use blockchain or via crypto or via stable coins to move the funds cross-border from Latin America countries to European, African, US countries at Bitso. So, and just a comparison between Swift and blockchain. Sorry. In blockchain, you just need the local rails. So in Brazil, PIX, in Europe, SEPA, and you move or you bridge these two currencies using a stablecoin. That's why we're going to talk more about stablecoin. And why stablecoin? Because they are packed into or in a major currency like USD or even Euro, or in the future, BRL, MXN. So with that, you can bridge your and convert your funds easy under 24 hours, 24/7. And in comparison with Swift and correspondent banking, you need to work on the working hours, wait for the correspondent approvals to move the funds. And just to finalize here, bringing a use case. And as Bitso Business, we are the infrastructure of cross-border payments, not only in Brazil, but in Mexico. And this is like a huge use case that we have, which is Felix Pago. Felix Pago is a remittance company that they are using the entire infrastructure of Bitso, from the US to MXN, the conversions as Andrés showed. And a little bit more context, the corridor US to Mexico, it's a 60 billion remittance market corridor. And it's really, really big because there are more than 10 million Mexican-born individuals in US, and like they send funds to their family. And these funds, it's for their family to pay the bills, to go to the supermarket. This has been one of the major contributors to the GDP of Mexico. It's around 3%. For Brazilians, like agro, which is poppy, we call it here, it's 6.7%, the GDP of agro to Brazil. So it's almost a half if we compare agro to remittances in Mexico. And the way that Felix did, and getting the words of Thales, sending funds from US to Mexico as easy as a WhatsApp message. How? Using Bitso. And the solution, instead of charging 6%, it's just by $299. It's via WhatsApp. The way that they build it, it's scalable for them to use our other Latin ramps like Brazil, Colombia, and Argentina. So that's one use case in Mexico.
Amazing, Matheus. And this is an example how can you use blockchain stablecoins to realize, to perform those real-time transactions with no pre-funded. Each country is different, right? Regulation in Brazil is more specific. So there's this gray zone. And when you have fiat, stablecoins fiat, we always recommend the eFX structure that we talked in the beginning. But coming back here, I have two questions before giving the word to you, Julia, so you can speak about stablecoins regulation in Brazil. So Fernando Fontes is asking, what's the blockchain used for the crypto part of the payments? So Andrés, please feel free to jump in here, but we support several networks from Solana, Polygon, Ethereum. What else? Am I missing some?
Stellar, Bitcoin per se. We're soon going to be explaining that more in depth in our documentation, but basically, if you check our bitso.com website and go to currencies, every single one of those currencies is a blockchain that we support. Correct. More than 51.
Yeah, and the idea is to have more and more. Okay, thank you, Fernando. And Rodrigo Correa is asking this question. If a user informs his/her PIX key information for pay-in and payout made by Bitso, is it enough to have the user registered in the platform with his/her bank data automatically? So pretty much he's asking if we get the PIX key, if we can like having the let's say the basic information about this user.
Yes, so that is a really good question. And yes, in most of the cases, yes, but we also ask for the recipients, in this case, the person that's going to receive the money, the CPF, just to make sure, because we do a process, regulated process, to make sure that every single user is receiving money on behalf of themselves and not of someone else. So you would have to ask for the PIX key, even if it is a Bitso PIX key plus the CPF.
Awesome. Thank you, Andres. So question here, more than question, I'm gonna pass the mic here to Julia, but before I'm gonna give you just some context. When I started at Bitso, like 2.5 years ago, I remember we submitted a paper to the central bank outlining our vision how FX cross-border transaction could happen on the blockchain. And the idea was pretty much to do a smart contract when you can initiate this transaction on-chain, on the blockchain, and you can also get the IOF, the tax you have to pay to Brazil, automatically out of this transaction. And you can transfer this to the government. This was 2.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And at that time was a very distant reality. I remember the central bank said, okay, thank you for this, super innovative, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Now in Brazil, if you see with Drex, with the CBDC, and also the regulation of the crypto economy in Brazil, this discussion is happening right now. So something that we thought would take like 5-10 years is happening. I'm not saying that next year is going to be live, but in my opinion, 2026 is very probable that's going to be live. So if you have a fintech, if you have a business, this is coming. And the call here is to be prepared for when this is coming, because it's more efficient, as Matheus showed, less intermediaries, faster. And again, my view, the wallet's the new bank account. But Julia, give us some color about the regulation, stable coins, what the central bank is looking, and what you see here, since you talk with a lot of regulators, associations, and stakeholders in the sector.
Yes, I think you're totally right, Thales. Probably in 2026, we'll have not a full framework, but the base of the framework regulation ready to go. When we look specifically for the stable coins, what we anticipate is that the central bank will open a public consultation in September, by the end of September or October, in a form of request for information. What that means? It means that the central bank will consult us and other associations and other companies about how we use the stable coins, how we use them for business, how the transactions with the stable coin work. So they can have all this information and understand how to proceed with the regulation. So it's very unlikely that we have like a formal structure regulation this year, but we are already engaging with them to talk about the case of uses that we have here in Brazil or even in other countries. So that's what they want for 2024. They want to know how the system works, how we can use the stable coins for the regulatory framework structuring the market will be expected only in 2025. That even happens because before we have like a full regulation for the use of stablecoins, we need to have the full regulation for the crypto companies that operate in the crypto market, despite of using stablecoins or not. So the preference for this year for the central bank is to publish some, it is in form of public consultation also, but already structuring how we are going to regulate VASPs, virtual asset service providers, here in Brazil. So we are going to do this first, like how the VASPs should request for license, what kind of activities we can operate here in Brazil, and then we'll probably move to stable coins. But the formal structure only by the end of 2025, probably. Before that, we're gonna focus more on how VASPs will work. But as you said, in 2026, we will probably have all these regulations and all these structures for us to operate like with full confidence and with full compliance. We are already all compliance with everything that the central bank wants us to be. We already comply with everything, like the previous requests they are making to us, the request of informations and everything. But in 2026, we'll have like all the market regulated, and that's what we are expecting right now.
Thank you, Julia. Great insights. And she's working very closely with the regulators and other players, right, in this industry to make this a reality in Brazil. We have a question from Rafael Sola here. How it works between companies, B2B remittance, is it possible? Want to answer that?
I can answer. And yes, it's possible. Like as we showed the use case of a Felix Pago, which is person to person. The difference is it's like the volumes and the amount, so the liquidity for you to have that. And in Mexico, Brazil, we have huge liquidity in our books. You can check on the website of Bitso. Also, we have the proper licenses in there, as Julia mentioned a little bit here. So in Mexico, we are a money transmitter there. In Brazil, we are an instituição de pagamento. So we leverage those licenses to move funds across countries here.
Thank you, Matheus. And yes, in the end, like it's all about KYC as well, especially for B2B, that the transactions are like higher in volume. So we need to have a very lean KYC, but it's possible. If you see like last year, the total volume of crypto transactions in Brazil, 90% of the volume was, 80%, apologize, was related to stablecoins. And there's a bunch of companies taking advantage of this as well, so it's possible. I have a question from Pedran Atari. So should we expect pay-ins and payouts in Brazil in 2026, or this is available now? So Pedran, our pay-ins and payouts in Brazil is available. So if you want to use our PIX, just contact one of us here or sales, and we can show you, but this is live in Brazil, pay-ins and payouts. What we expect to be live is the regulation about stable coins in Brazil for cross-border transactions. That's a gray area, like for companies that they receive reais, they use stable coins, and they do a payout in the States. So we expect the government to discuss this, what Julia was saying, and come up with a regulation as well that you can collect the IOF, all of this. Today, this is possible with Bitso. We do a eFX. That's pretty much, we get our reais, we buy dollars, and then we convert those dollars to crypto. And also we have what we call crypto off-ramps. That's basically for companies crypto native. When they have a Web3 wallet, for example, and they sell those USDC, USDT for reais, or vice versa as well. A MetaMask, for example, when you deposit reais and you get USDC in the wallet. Yeah, so let me see. More questions. Thank you, super helpful. And yeah, this is Pedran as well. And what stage do you recommend early startups to integrate with Bitso to take into account price? This is, I'm going to repeat here, maybe Andrés, you can address this. What stage do you recommend early startups to integrate with Bitso take into account price?
Yeah, thank you, Pedran. And like Thales said, since our solution is already live, I would say for early startups, you can start integrating now. Yeah, pricing wise, you would have to discuss with one of our sales team, but you can always integrate and take advantage of all of the cool features that we are enabling right now for local companies, international companies, and you can leverage these great services that we have right now before other companies if you start integrating to ourselves right now. So there's not a problem with that. You can be a startup, We have a lot of startups integrating with us. You can be a big company. You can integrate with us as well. You're going to have the same level of support.
Exactly. And we are infrastructure player, and we love when we see like cool startups that they build on top of our infrastructure. So this is amazing. Right now with our PIX in Argentina, as you know, a lot of Brazilians are paying in Argentina with PIX. So if your country or receive a lot of Brazilians, you can enable this. So we love all those use cases, and we're very open to that. Let's see, Fernando Fontes has a lot of questions. Do you give the 12 words for the user? I'm not sure I understand that, but you mean like the random key? If that's your question, Fernando, yes, we do. And what KYC do you use? We have several providers. Each country have a different one because each country you have different regulations, but we always screen against OFAC, all those lists. We do that. In each country have a local provider as well to verify the local IDs, the documentation for each country. And do you have plans for a mobile application? Actually, we have a mobile application as well. So if you're a user of Bitso, you can use our mobile, but what we don't have right now is this white label, but you can build yours and like connect to our API and have the same functionalities. Andrés, if you want to add something on this last one.
Yes, definitely. Most of our recent clients, they have integrated to our APIs and they have built mobile applications. That is definitely possible, especially for conversions, for automated trading, and also for, in this case, what we explained before, PIX pay-ins and payouts. This is definitely possible for remittances. We have the APIs there waiting for you to access to help you, basically.
All right.
Just the 12 words, I think they are talking about the Web3 wallet and the secrets. So we have a Web3 wallet at Bitso, but the solution that we were showing to you is on our centralized exchange that we operate.
Good. And another question from Fernando Matos here. Is there a minimum or maximum limit per transaction?
So the minimum amount per transaction in Brazilian reais, because I'm going to answer regarding Brazilian reais first, is 0.1 Brazilian real.
1 cent.
1 cent, basically, yes. Thank you, Thales. And then about the maximum, there is basically no limit. Of course, there's a limit that is going to be entirely linked to your account limit with Bitso, but we can always help you to make that limit really huge so that you don't have to worry about it. And for other currencies like, I don't know, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, the limits are really, really similar.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions? If not, I would like to thank you, all of you, for your time. I'm always amazed when the people like my team say, okay, it's going to be a 1 hour webcast. I said, Jesus, 1 hour is a lot of time. We might don't have enough questions, but it's always a surprise because we always have like a lot of interaction from you. And I would like to thank you, especially Matheus, Andrés, Julia, for your participation here. We are 100% available, right, through LinkedIn. You can contact us, and we're gonna send this recording as well to our email. And welcome, and looking forward for you, all of you, trying to integrate to use our infrastructure, not only in Brazil, but in Argentina, Colombia, and Mexico as well. Thank you, and have a nice day, all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.